saw this tweet about WordPress plugins that use the shell exec function, and I don't know how many WordPress plugins exist, but just the list of ones that have shell exec called is just under 1,000. So that's a pretty large target. So basically what I'm going to try and do here for the next hour, hour and a half is try and script something that will pull down all of these plugins and then grep through them for shell exec. And I have no idea where we're going to go from there, but I don't know. I just thought that would be an interesting scripting and security problem. And yeah, if anybody has thoughts or suggestions as we go, feel free to jump in. So let's see here. Discord's beeping. It's just. So I think what I'm going to do first is see if I can figure out a way to auto download all of these. So let's grab the list. So I'm just using wget to grab that list and saving it as plugins.txt. And there they all are. So now I can use like bash scripts or whatever to try and pull these down. And so let's see how these work. Okay, so here's a database of WordPress plugins, it looks like. Let's just click one. There's a download button. Sweet, so that links directly to a zip file. You can see down there in the bottom right corner. That's convenient. And it looks like that's the name up there. So let's do this. Let's go back up to the top here. So I'm just going to take that first one, 10K Web Manager. Let's see what happens. Whoops. Sorry, my screen's still a little laggy here. 10 Web Manager. Wicked. That linked right to it. And there's a download with another zip. Let's just try another one. Let's try app full. Just make sure they're all consistent here. Also links to the plugin page, also has a download button with a zip. That is awesome. So if I'm going to parse all of these out, let's see what it actually looks like. So I'm just using the developer console here. And it looks like that's inside of an anchor tag that has plugin download button. That's probably going to be fairly unique. So let's look at the source code and look for plugin download. There it is, and it has download after it. So I can probably use like a regular expression or something if I just curl this page for each thing there. And that should get me a list of zip files. So let's try that. Let's see if we can use some hash magic. So I'm going to say for link in, and then we'll cat the plugins file. Just make sure that works. Okay, so there's all of them. So for each of those, I'm going to, let's call this P. And then let's say link equals downloads.wordpress.org/plugin. No, let's get the URL. /p, and then let's do curl link, pipe that to grep download /a. So I'm just looking for like that tag in the HTML. Let's see what it does. So it looks like it's finding a bunch of them, but maybe some didn't work. Like this second one here, for some reason it looks like that didn't. Unless it's just on this next line. Okay, so let's try and clean this up a little bit. I'm going to say curl, I'm going to pipe standard error to dev null so that I don't see all this download garbage. And then I'm also, before I curl it, I'm going to say echo p colon. We'll say don't print a new line there. So basically tell me, oops, what it's trying to find each time. It's a little larger. Oh, actually, it does look like that one. Okay, so they're all working perfectly. So when it looked like it didn't before, it probably just broke onto another because this was extra long. So now for each thing in the text file, it's finding to that thing. So now we have to parse this bad boy out. So I'm going to do some really, really dirty stuff. This is not the best way to do it. Probably a regular expression would be best. Actually, let's use a regular expression. So I'm going to say egrep. Let's grab. So I want anything between href equals quote, and this is going to be a capture group. Dot star. We want anything that is not a quote. One or more of those. Followed by download. And I'm going to say, I think it's like -01 to show the first capture group. Oh, that's wrong. Okay, now I got to remember this syntax. So egrep and egrep basically is a regular expression grep. So what I would like to look for is capture groups. Oh, I think maybe we need to use Perl compatible regular expressions. Okay, let's try that. So I'm going to do this again. We'll say, I did use Perl. Conflicting matchers. Okay, what am I doing? Maybe we're just going to do it the dirty.
I don't think you need the 1 after O.
Just PO?
Maybe not.
So what are we doing here? href quote capture anything that is not a quote. One or more of those end capture. I wonder if it's mad about the /. Okay, well, I could fight with that. There's a regular expression way to do it. The dirty way is to say cut, and we will cut it on the delimiter quote and say show me. Well, let's look at all of the columns. Ooh, that's too many. We need to pipe it grep first. Okay, so again, we're going to grep for download /a. So just pull that line out, and chop it up on a single quote, and show me all the columns. So it looks like that's going to be column 1. That will be column 2. That will be column 3. So we probably want column 4 is going to be our link. So let's say just show me column 4. Yeah, buddy. There we go. Okay, so this is why bash is really right.
Nice work, Andrew.
On script. Thank you. Isn't that great? Bash is so freaking awesome. So we can just use a bash script to pull all of those out. So let's make it a little bit fancier now. So we have the link is equal to that. I'm going to say we can remove this. We don't need it anymore. And we'll say download link is equal to this whole thing that we just got. Then, you know what, let's make a directory first. And then we're going to put everything in that drawer. So cd to plugins. And we'll say dl equals this. We will wget dl DL. Let's just let that run and see what happens. Oh, right. So now // because we're in their directory. Sweet. It looks like it is working. So now it's auto downloading all of those plugins for me. I can pop open to a new terminal here and we can watch it grow. There we go. So we could hang out for quite a while and watch all of these 900 and something populate. This is probably going to take a long time, so I'll download all of these and I can, I don't know, zip them up or something if he's interested later. In the meantime, what can we do? Let's just temporarily, so that we can start working on stuff, let's copy plugins to like temp plugins. So now we've got a few that we can work with. So while this is downloading in the background, I can go ahead and, looks like something broke there. That's okay, we're gonna get most of them. Okay, we can go back and do that later. That'll be the one that has 0 this too. So for all of these, I probably want to unzip all of them. What if I just do this? Let's see how bright this is going to. Whoops. So I'm just going to try unzipping everything and hope to have it all in their own. Why did that not work? File name not matched. I don't know why unzip doesn't like a list. Okay, let's try it. ls do unzip done. Oh yeah. Cool. Okay. So it looks like it missed all-in-one analytics. Maybe that one was only partially complete when I copied it. Yeah, it looks like that was partially complete. So for now, I'm just going to remove that one. And let's remove all the zip files. We don't need those anymore. Anytime you're using rm-rf with a star, double, triple check. One time I was in my home directory and I was trying to remove everything inside of a folder, and I said rm-rf, like the folder /star, but I accidentally did instead, and that turned out very good. So yeah, double check that. Oh, here's another cool trick. If you do cd minus, it'll go back to the previous directory. Okay, so now we can just start looking for shell execs, I guess. So I'm going to recursively grep /r, showing the file name -h, showing the line number -n, and sometimes I'll use case insensitivity, but we probably want it to be case sensitive here. So what we're looking for, according to the tweet, is shell exec. So let's just look for anything with the word shell exec here. Oh, there's a lot. Okay. So where the hell did that .js? So we don't want to look in any JavaScript files. I don't know why it's in there. JavaScript has become such a tire that PHP isn't. So some of these are uninteresting, right? Like if it says shell exec and then there's just a constant string in there, that's probably not interesting. Anywhere where it's not actually calling the function, it's just checking something about it, that's not going to be interesting. That's a comment, that's not interesting. This is probably not interesting, that's just constant. Really what we're looking for, I think, is going to be anywhere that shell exec is used and there's a variable passed in there, and then we could try to trace that back as user input. Right, so I'm starting with where the potential vulnerability be, and then I'm going to trace that back doing taint analysis to try and. This looks just awful. We're going to have to do something better. Oh my lord. I can't even scroll it. It's so bad. Okay, so there's probably better ways to do this, but I'm going to use find in the current directory to look for anything that ends in .php. And actually, sometimes PHP programmers will end this with include. I'm going to put a star after that too, because in very rare occasions you'll see like PHPS or PHP5. So we're going to say, yeah, let's just see what it is. And then star as must proceed expression. Oh, I need another. Let's see. I think I can use a regular expression here, maybe. Question mark. Can I do this? Does anyone know? Apparently not. Okay, let's just look for PHP files. So I'm going to say find anything current directory that has .php in the name. This is not a perfect way to find them because technically, like the directory .php, but that looks perfect to me. This is just kind of the shot approach here, going for the scalpel. That's a lot of PHP code. Okay, so for each of those things, let's grep for shell exec in that. Let's see what we get. And I suppose it would be useful as well to print the name of the file. Let's do it like this. Instead of having find print it, let's have print it like we did before. Show us a line number. There we go. That's awesome. Aha! Right away, I'm seeing something that's interesting there. So in PHP mailer, which is, I know that to be, that's another PHP project that it looks like this particular WordPress plugin is included. It passes a variable to shell exec. So we could then open this file up and we could start working backwards from that variable and try and figure out where it came from and passing it to it. Let's just see what else we have here. So there's PID. That could be interesting, also in PHP mailer. Dollar exclamation. Usually PHP variables start with a dollar. So I don't think you can have one called exclamation, but anywhere that shell escape arg is used, probably not going to be vulnerable. So actually, that one's probably okay. Let's see. So there's a shell exec, but it's not calling it. This is just doing stty. Am I? There we go. So there's another one in here. So in cron manager PHP script, exec path is being passed to shell exec. That could be interesting to look at as well. Code files. So this is interesting. There's no variables in it. You can't like pass user data directly. But I think that if a file name that the find command returned was to PHP code, that could theoretically work. But I'm guessing if you can write a file name anyway, so that's probably not worth it. So let's take a look at that. That's going to be on 130. So this is in the teardown function, probably something as the object being destroyed. This is in the PHP mailer. Oh, test class. So probably this is not something that's going to live in production. This is probably something by the developer. That's unfortunate. Well, let's see what 30. So the P comes from here, which is passed through shell. So as far as I'm aware, there's a way to bypass shell arg. Chat has any ideas on that? Escape shell arg is just designed to make user input safe past shell exec. So it's going to remove things like $, put output function, hopefully make it a little bit safer. I'm not aware of any to bypass that. So unless somebody has an idea about that function, call those issues. So that one probably is. So let's see how many we got here. We are on, oh, this is going pretty quick than I thought. We're already on SEO dashboard by websites. Yeah, so it's more than halfway done. Let's do the same thing then. Let's just remove everything in the directory. Double, triple check because we're using -rf and a star. Yep, I'm super sure. And let's do that again. Let's do let's recreate our directory here while it's still working. There's a bunch of stuff. This can take some time. So for I in ls do unzip I done. This might take a moment. Please hold. So with all of this data now, it's going to become a little bit more difficult to just grep for shell exec. So we might want to try and think about using better regular expressions to like look for where it's actually called rather than just word being used. Look at that. So let's see. Just going to all the zip files again. We don't need those. And let's just try what we did before. Let's see how much data we're going to here. So just search for everything in the current directory that ends in PHP. For shell exec. There should be a whole bunch more here. So one thing that we could do is we could also grep $sign following the shell exec. That's not going to be a perfect way to find everything, but like anything that has shell exec and doesn't have a $sign after it, it's probably not interesting. There's one. I'll just let it run a sec. Is anyone messaging me? Damn. Let's just.
You're doing so good, Andrew.
You're doing so good, Sean. Sean, you got any ideas here? What are you seeing?
I had to zoom away for a little bit and do some other stuff in 10 minutes, so I'll probably be bailing.
No worries.
But I trust you.
Ooh, look at this. This is taking file name and passing it to shell exec.
I saw one somewhere that was like firewallrules.php, and it was just shell exec $command.
Oh, God.
So that might be fun.
Yeah, so we're getting a lot more data This is.
So
I mean, I
that
can go through
PDF
this.
controller one's Comnand or
Wait,
Comnad. It's spelt wrong
Where? What?
at the
Like,
top
how
of your
far up?
screen.
Ha! Sure enough. Well, as long as they're consistent. Command. Pi command? What? See, this is spooky. Don't be these people. My goodness. So some of these could be duplicates too. Like there's this question helper class, it looks like. And then same thing here, console helper, question helper. So some of these may be libraries that plugins are including. So that might be a bad thing for us because there's less shell execs to look through. Or it might be a good thing for us to find something like this. Now automatically all of these to queue. It just keeps going. My God, look at. Yeah, so this is going to be a lot of work to do. So at this point, now that we've pretty much got it all downloaded, well, almost, it's just a matter of looking. I keep thinking it's almost done. Okay, we're going to try and use some regular expressions to do a better job of this. So, rather than just grep, we're going to use egrep, and I'm going to show me anything that says shell exec followed by 0 or more characters followed by parenthesis, because we have a function, followed by 0 or more characters, followed by $sign. Let's see if that's right. It sounds like somebody's talking. Interesting.
And as a note, the ding is just whenever anybody joins the channel or leaves or whatever else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're not getting messages. Well,
Is that the same sound that's used for messages?
I think it's so. I think it's just a general notification sound of something's happened.
No, it's unique.
Is it unique? Then I guess it just kind of sounds similar.
You
I
can
don't
turn
know,
on
man.
streamer mode and then it goes away. So like with me streaming, then I don't hear it. But
I'm not worried about it. Just want to make sure I'm not missing. Yeah, so this is looking quite promising. Just some temporary variable CAPTCHA library. Looks like we're getting close here. Once these all finish downloading, as long as it's too much data, I'll throw it up somewhere you guys can download to. Probably should have done some like print out what I'm trying to download here so that when I get those errors I can go later. Not immediately sure what. But we can look at whatever's between WP syntax and WP. Let's do that. So WP syntax, W template. I have no idea why those. I was expecting to see like a weird special character, or let's just take a look at. See if we can figure out why we're missing those. Ah, that would be why. There's no download button. Okay, I think I'm just going to ignore that then and not. Plugin has been closed. Okay, whatever. Concern myself with it. That's interesting. So I wonder, when did this guy tweet? So he tweeted today, this morning, and he has his list, which he committed to GitHub 5 hours ago. And he knew that that can be shell exec. So either this is some research that he's been working at least before September of 2018, or the available somewhere else. Hold it.
Can you say that again, Andrew? You're cutting out a little bit.
Oh, my bad. So basically, he tweeted this today. He committed this list to GitHub 5 hours ago, but this plugin has been gone ostensibly since September of 2018. And so I'm wondering if maybe he pulled his list from somewhere else, or if he's just been doing this research for several years. So WP syntax highlighting. Something different. I don't know. Well, let's not. All good. Close. Maybe it's done. Hey, it's done. Okay. So let's see. Do you want DF or D? I'm just gonna see how big this is. 1.7 gig. What the heck? Let's try it. So I'm gonna
Easy
try
money.
No big deal. Compress, gzip, verbose, file. Let's see, somebody stole keyboard focus. Plugins.or.gz. So I'm just going to compress this up and throw it on a web server somewhere, and then if anyone wants to download it, go with me, and you guys can grep through it as well. Oh, God, this is still going. This is a lot of data. Let's say if we have how many people? 15 or so. It'll take all of us days to look. So maybe what we want to do then is look through the list and just sort of make an educated guess of it worth our time. So, what do we want to base that? So we could make an educated guess based on the plugin if we think that it's something that is dealing with user input, or we can make an educated guess based on the variable names.
Another good idea I thought about was maybe also adding another grep to like cut out anything that is wrapping the shell command or the shell exec.
Oh,
So
that's
like
a good
rtrim and trim. Those
So
are
like
popping up a lot.
remove everything in front of it or something?
Yeah, so like if yeah, make a regular expression to just say if something is wrapping shell exec, then like don't print it out.
That's not a bad idea. Although, yeah, maybe. I think I'm actually interested in seeing what's around it for now, because as I'm trying to make guesses about what it's doing, I think that's going
Fellas,
Yeah.
before I hop off, just a side note that some of those plugins that don't have download links also don't have excellent version control. So if you just take the name of the plugin and put it after the rest of the path and then .zip, it'll get it. So just copy that and put .zip.
right here.
Because it's still hosted. There's just not a download link. Well, no, you gotta.
Oh, like the.
Yeah, put it after.
Oh, okay. I'm a dummy. Look at this. As long as all of these names are the same, I could have just taken this list and
Some
put
of
the
them do
URLs
have version
directly.
control, though.
Oh, okay. So then it is.
But I gotta
Well,
bounce.
I'll leave
So
that as an extra.
Nice tip,
keep
Sean.
up the great work.
Thanks, Sean. Good idea. So if anybody else is following along at home or planning to work on this later, another thing you could do is try and find the ones that I don't have in my corpus here and like look for them. I'm not going to go back and start over. Okay, I'm going to upload this to a server that you guys can. Let's see, plugins, topology. hope I have enough. 2 gigs. That'll be fine. YOLO. 2. Okay, that'll take it just a sec, but you guys can download. Jeez, maybe it's quicker. Just down. Well, let it go. Okay, so what do we have here? I was really hoping this would be. We're not even looking through all of them either. I copied this over. So let's just start up. Try and find the top, and we'll just start scrolling. Cool. All right, well, now the work begins. So those are not terribly interesting to me. Those are not interesting. String constants. This is pulling something from MySQL environment variables. I'm going to guess that's not. So this looks like it's looking for the path to the program on the chain. It's not something there's going to. I mean, obviously, we could go and look at all of these and verify data right now. That is a constant. Here we go. So this is looking for something to do with MPEG. Let's just start there. I'm going to open another terminal. Inside these. That's better. Whoops. Go. That was line 504. So before I scroll down, not to rag on this program, when I see all of this extraneous white space, just it generally kind of looks like a mess. That's a indicator. Attention. Or maybe they have a text editor that doesn't show space. Who knows? Let's go to line 504. Boy, that's a lot of white space. Okay, so EE command comes from here. That comes from ffmpeg. So this is like, let's see, full file path. So now we have 2 variables that we track backwards. So let's look at EE file full path. That comes from here. So they're replacing any instances of a double / single forward. That comes from fig variable.
Quick side note, Andrew. Could you increase your terminal size a little bit?
How's that?
Perfect. Thank you.
Looks
Nice.
good.
Thank you. So I'm going to guess that this is not going to be vulnerable. Again, I'm making very loose assumptions here, and I'm not verifying them, so I may be missing things, but I'm just looking for low-hanging fruit because there's so much data to dig through. So I see EE command. One of the input variables here is full file path. That came from here, which came from big in the name. PHP programmers like to make variables with in the name with static files that like the person running the software sets once about. So I guess that's probably not a problem. This after it. Wait, check. So if it's something to do with a thumbnail, that could conceivably. I don't see file. Am I blind? Path info. Does anyone else see EE file path set anywhere? Go up to the top. Oh, maybe that comes from the conf file.
It was a parameter to the function, I think.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
So 504. Oh, sure enough. Good icon. Thank you. Hey, when you guys ask questions, Kyle, will that show up on the recording? Is that being recorded too?
Yep, everything in Discord or happening on my computer should go through the stream.
That's awesome.
Including the Outlook notification I got a little bit ago, so it's pretty good.
Excellent. So now we really have to trace backwards. So now I have to find all of the places where EESFL check thumbnail is called and see if any arguments passed to that could user it. This is going to get to be a little bit messy. And then beyond that, I also need to track down EE screenshot. That came from here. So now we trace these three variables back. So thumb path comes from a config, EE directory, path, which comes from path info. So that's not going to be a problem. What else do we have? EE file name only. File name. So probably what we want to do is just where this function is called. And so I'm going to go ahead and move this directory specifically. This is the one I'm interested in. And we will look for anywhere that's referenced. So it is inside of a class, and it is called 366. So called from right here within. That's a whopper function. EESFL update. Scan the real files. Ah, okay. So I'm going to make an educated guess here. Let's see what this plugin is meant to do. This is probably dealing with like a image gallery or something, and it's scanning files on the system and using thumbnails from the simple file list. Every plugin gives you a WordPress website. Users can also upload files. That's interesting. So EESFL. Right. So at this point, I'm so deep into variable names and function calls that I think if I was going to be effective in determining user can catch this without being authenticated, I would probably need to stand up a WordPress instance and install this plugin and actually try it out and just kind of see what the functionality is, how I reach that function. This may be just kind of, I'm going to stop looking when I'm just doing static code analysis here. It's just too much to keep track of that level, and there's so much more to look at. So I don't know, maybe that's an interesting one.
I agree.
For. See this later. Nobody wants to watch Andrew 11 trace variables. We want to find like the one that's $_.
What's the ETA on the upload?
It is at 37%, estimated 16 minutes.
Gotcha.
So when that is done, in case I forget, that will be available at dev.hostbin.org/wp-plugin.gz. Yep. Yeah, so it's not done yet. Don't download this yet. Please wait till it finishes. Otherwise, we're just going to use up all the bandwidth. But yeah, once that's done, you guys can. Okay, well, let's just move on. Let's see what else we find. So that was there. So these are not interesting because they're just checking if it exists. Something must be wrong with expression. Oh, I guess I didn't use the one with dollar sign. Maybe I didn't scroll down. There we go. This is the one I should have. Okay, so there's the one with EE command. So let's just take a look at their simple backup function general 66. Good Lord, this was made on a Windows machine. See all these, what would that be? Extra terms? Just Linux things. So output equals shell exec code. Code comes from function call, so this one just directs the standard to standard out. So let's see if we can find that's called. Keyword. Oh, because it's in simple backup table. So I think this is all JavaScript. Any day now.
Might be beneficial to use Find.
That's a good idea. Can I? Oh, I can like search in the terminal, can't I? Ah, that's what I should do. Well, here we go. It looks like there's only 871, and the only variable input is a file name. What the heck? Let's check it out. So we'll go up to 871. So self-executes. It's extracting something using tar. File comes from. Does path in. Returns information about a associated array or string. Okay, so you handed a path to something. Returns. Okay, so when we are extracting a file, check actions. Set action. Okay, here we go. All right, this is getting good. So let's talk about.
Oh, that's great.
I don't. I don't know that this is a vulnerability yet, but this is looking very promising all of a sudden. So inside of the check actions function, we'd have to figure out if a user will touch this function. The file variable comes from site guarding backup folder, which I'm going to assume is in a config file somewhere, var www. But then they just tack get file name on at the end. So it's like, discuss this. I'm guessing that somewhere up in the code, they do like a define this thing to be like var /www/html path, whatever. And they are intending that by putting that in front of it, I can't just pass in like /etc/password as my get parameter, so that like I couldn't do file name that. But what they've missed is that I could just do this just as effective, right? Or I don't know. I'm making guesses here, but probably if I passed it. So let's see if I can pass a value here, which I can. And I can use .. If not is file return false, as long so I have to choose a real file. And then I get to choose what the action will be. That's a get parameter. And the get parameter we were interested in is inside of, is it in restore? Yep, so that's called from within restore. So let's take some notes here. So this is a simple backup tool. And the file that we are looking at is classes/func_general. .php, and right around lines 800 to 900-ish. If we pass it, so there's two get parameters. We need an action, and then we're going to need a file name. And it looks like the file name can probably be a directory traversal. That won't contain commands that we can run, but I'll show you what we need in just a minute. So action, we're going to want to be restore. So if I set action to restore, strip I position backwards. Oh, string I position. As long as it's not equal to false. So it looks like I have to have the word back files in file. It's possible that that will come from here, or it's possible to get file name, but that's not really a problem because assuming that it's at the, I could just say like backup /whatever. Problem, if not defined absolute path, that should be set. That's not a problem. Path info file equals zip. Do all of this. Else if path info extension tar, do this. Interesting. So it looks like in order to reach this code, whatever I pass in via get is going to have to end tar. So that could be a tricky connection. So basically, in order to pass my input to the command, the file, I have to pass it text for which that file name actually exists and ends in .tar. I can do directory traversal, but I'm going to have to follow the string. That could be a little bit. Now it's possible in the good old days you could just put like %00 on the end, and maybe I can .tar at the end, and maybe like that part. But ultimately I need to get a code. So this may end up not actually being vulnerable because I would have to put a command.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, no, right?
Yeah, that's kind of, I don't really know how you would get around that.
Yeah, so basically the goal here would be to try and get a command in here, netcat, whatever, my server, report in bash. But that's not going to work directly because we have to have a file with this name. And that's
Right.
dang. So this may actually not be direct. This does allow us to untar any arbitrary file on the system, but that's a low issue. Yeah, so based on what I'm seeing here, I don't think this is going to be exploitable. I mean, it's theoretically exploitable. Definitely problem. It's bad code. But I think it's going to end up not being terribly dangerous for those reasons. But if anyone watching wants to go check or try it out, that's where I would go look.
Hey, could you turn up your mic sensitivity? You're kind of cutting out.
Yeah.
I think you do it in Discord, like the activation sensitivity.
Yeah.
Discord setting.
User settings. Yep.
Voice video. Yep. Automatically. So turn that off, and then you can adjust it. Yeah. And then turn that down.
How's this now? Is this a little better? Check. Testing 1, 2.
Might want to go down a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Check,
should be good.
Very slightly. Yeah, okay, that looks like it's right about at the right place. Can you guys hear this entirely now, or am I clipping stuff?
Yeah.
You're good.
Awesome. I learned a new thing. Thanks, guys.
No problem.
So, unless anybody has another idea for this one, I think I'm going to stop looking here. I would encourage you to go poke around yourself. Maybe there's something I'm not considering or I haven't thought about. But I don't see any direct way to exploit that. So, let's take a look at one more. Let's see. Help Night starts at 3 o'clock, right? We're already into it. Let's find one more interesting one. Let's go another 10 minutes at least. Give you an idea of what to look for here. And if I can't find anything else good, then we'll call it a day and you can go looking on your own. So where were we? Wow, we haven't even begun to get to our list. Simple twit. Hopefully that's something to do with Twitter. Temp utilities, shell exec, STTY style. I'm guessing this is not going to be anything that the user can pass input to. If we're using STTY, it's something to do with the command line. So this is probably like a script that the developer would use or the person installing the software. I'm just going to skip it. Something to do with JPEGs, but it's commented out. So we'll skip it. These are just checking if the function exists. Skip it. Something with curl, test, deploy. I'm going to skip this one too, just because it's in deploy.php. I'm guessing that's something to do with installing the plugin, so skip it. Maybe you go looking at that one. I'm skipping a lot of stuff here. Syntax sniff, code sniffer, shell exec command. Let's take a look at that. Line 83. Okay, so we're looking in the SG cache press plugin at syntaxsniff.php. I see there's a shell exec cmd, but both of the places that comes from are passed through a shape shell command. Interesting. Okay, look at this. This is cute. So the first part of command is passed through shape escape shell command, but then there's a file name variable that's appended onto the end, and it doesn't get sent through that. So if we can find a problem, oh, no, never mind. Look at that. That did get escaped also. I don't know why they wouldn't just put this curly bracket right here instead. It seems like a better way to do it. Whatever. Okay, so that one's probably not a problem because all the variables it's using get passed through escape shell arg. We'll call that one good. fixer.php diff equals line 272. CMD comes from diff, so we've got a file name being used and a temp name. File name is safely escaped. Let's do something like shell exec. Okay, and temp name. Where does that come? Comes from here, which is not influenceable by the user. Data URI. That could be. So if we end up in here, if function exists as get temp directory, then it's not influenceable. Otherwise, it comes from here. But I don't know where data is defined. Data equal, oh, directly above it.
Oh.
Stream get metadata fixed file and fixed file. Yeah, okay, so that's not going to be a problem. So we'll close that one. What else do we have? That is not influenceable. Git rev parse standard redirect command. I'm not even going to go looking at this. I'm guessing that is just a like piping standard error to dev null or standard out or something. So ignore it. Some semi-secure login. Private key is shell exec gen RSA e in bits. What do you suppose are the chances the user can specify that?
99%.
Everybody cross your fingers, and we're looking at line 85. Okay, so we're looking for these variables. Let's look at E first. E comes from here. That we cannot specify, and numbits has a default of 2048 and optionally gets set to. Okay, so this is, it's casting number of bits to an integer. So even if we could pass whatever we wanted here, it would ultimately only end up being able to be an integer, so we can't. That's, can't do anything with that. I'd like to find one more good one just before we stop. So git clone. This is probably not a problem because it's a static member of the class itself, so that's something that programmer specifies. sbol validator. Anyone have any idea what sbol is? SPOL. Shell exec command. Let's take a look. Line 65. Okay, so command comes from here. Ooh, this is looking. Nope, never mind. But these are optional. We don't have to do that. We don't have to do this. We don't have to do this. Path parts.
It runs Java though.
Oh yeah.
It finds it.
Anytime you see this while you're doing research, just turn around and walk away. Actually, this could be interesting. So, okay. So we're pulling stuff from the $_files array, which if you're not a PHP person is the array of uploaded files. If I was to like upload an image or a text file or something, PHP would store it in here. And I think file to upload is the name of the HTML form field where that file is uploaded. And so WP handle upload. So this is going to be an internal WordPress function, which takes the name of the file to be uploaded and does something with it, add it to WordPress upload. I'm not sure what that returns, but let's assume, for the sake of argument, that we can influence this name here. If upload is successful, run validation, otherwise explain the failure. So if we have a value from move file and the error is not set, oh, so this is like an array. This is some complex object. This isn't going to be a string. Build a shell command. So we're crossing our fingers now and hoping that maybe we could influence like the file name or something. So let's see, path info, move file. What was the file part of path info? Huh. It's a little laggy. This looks like it only has 4 keys in that array. What am I missing? Error file. Oh, right, because this is something that they created. So that's probably the file name. That doesn't fix anything. You know what? This actually could be vulnerable. So, assuming, what am I assuming? Path parts extension. Okay, we're going to make a wild assumption that whatever this function returns is influenceable by the user, that I can put arbitrary characters there. If that is the case, then when command is set here, right, command dot equals something that's user influenceable, as long as we do not set any of these post parameters, that one's okay, that one's okay, that one's okay. Actually, we can set them, it doesn't matter. Then that would be code execution. So that's a possibility. So now we need to figure out what WP handle upload does and see if we can influence what it returns. All right, everybody, triple cross your fingers. All right, parameters. Wrapper for WP handle upload. Single element of files. Call the function once for each uploaded file. And I think we are overriding it. On success, returns an associative array of file attributes. Okay, and what would that be? So if it's just a wrapper for this, what does this return? Associative array of file attributes. This is looking semi-promising. So probably what I need to do now is figure out what the heck this associative array is going to be. Maybe there's like some example code. Okay, move. Look, it even has the same name. What do you want to guess that they were like reading this Stack Overflow post? Dir path is move file URL, but we are interested in the file key of that array. All right, challenge for the chat. Go find me what this thing returns and what the file portion will be. See if you can do it before I do. File name and location. attribute.
The all the like name schemes and everything is also on WordPress's site for how to use it.
Like the one that I was looking at before. This one.
I had a different one, but
Oh, here's source code. Okay, look at that. Does this look different than what you're seeing, Bailey?
yes,
Okay. What?
it's pretty much kind of like every name scheme that you saw in like that Stack Overflow is exactly the same as what I'm seeing on this WordPress.
Oh, okay. So they're just referring directly.
Yeah.
To WordPress documentation.
But I'm trying to find what it's returning exactly.
So I'm seeing that the array has an absolute path of uploaded file, the URL of the uploaded file, and the type of uploaded file. Those generally help.
So you don't see a file key in that thing?
Now it's not referencing the keys, it just says those 3 values are in the array. Not sure if that's the exact list or if there's more to it though.
So this suggests that there's an error key, or maybe there's an error key, optionally. It suggests there's a file key, and that may be it. Is it WP handle upload? And we're back to where we started. Clearly, I don't understand.
Andrew, I'm going to send you something real quick.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Nice find.
Yeah, so
success,
the
returns and-
actual function is down line 440, but it calls a hidden underscore WP handle upload, which is a little up on 246.
Oh, here we go.
It's on line 246.
Oops. Okay, on success returns an associative array of file attributes. Yep. So let's see if we can figure out where that file key comes from. Name, type, paths.
I've got it right here. It just has the local path, the public URL, and the MIME type. File is the local path of the uploaded file.
And what line do you see that on?
I can send you the link I found. Oh, I sent it in Slack.
That's
There
okay.
you go. This can be under return types down there.
Ah, yes, the local path of the uploaded file. So, So I wonder if WordPress randomizes this. Like maybe the secure, proper way to do this, at least in my opinion, would be to like MD5 hash the file and then name it whatever the MD5 hash is .extension, because you don't really want the user's file name to be stored on your own local file system. That could be dangerous. But if WordPress preserves any data from the original file name, that's a possibility. So how does this thing work? I'm going to keep poking through the source code here for just a sec. Okay, let's work backwards. So it returns file, new file. Let's find new file. New file comes from uploads path dot file name. Okay. file name comes from. Ah, dang it. Okay. I'm going to guess that this is not going to be vulnerable because it calls this WP unique file name. And probably what that does is, like I said, hash the file and return something that WordPress controls that the user can't influence.
Yeah, it verifies it's a file.
Yep. Bummer. Dang. Okay. Oh well. And then this is most likely from the WordPress config. All right. Well, sorry. I'm going to unofficially call that one unexploitable too. We're being very loose with our guesses here, but I don't think that's going to be exploitable. Was there any other way to get data into that command? Shell exec command. We can't pass anything there. That one will be safe. Not controlled, not controlled. Path parts file name. Path parts comes from path info, which comes from this, which we can't control. We can't control that. And we cannot control this. So yeah, I think that one's probably not exploitable. Bummer. Oh well. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's see how our upload is going here. That completed. So if you guys want to,
you might
go ahead.
control over that.
You clipped out.
I said that you might be able to control the extension.
That's true. That's a possibility. Right. So like if I uploaded a file asdf dot like netcat something, that's a possibility. That's probably something that's going to be environment specific. Like depending on if you're running PHP on a Linux machine or a Windows machine and what version of PHP, that may or may not work. But that would be something interesting to actually set up the application, run it, and try it. A neat trick, by the way, there. So if you need to have spaces, right, like for netcat, we need to have spaces there. In Linux, you should be able to say $ curly ifs, which stands for the something field separator, I think, and that will get expanded out to a space, and that should solve it. Like if let's see, if I'm in a bash shell here, and I say echo a $ifs b, and put a curly bracket here. Oh, it gives me a new line. Never mind, I was wrong. I think there's a way to do that where you can have it expand out to a space. I don't know, look it up. Well, at this point, I think it's just going to be a whole lot of poking through all of these scripts. So here's what I'm going to do. The link to the downloads, if you guys want all of those files and don't want to have to go through that scripting, you can get them from... We have it. It's on my history. wp plugins.tar.gz. There we go, 1.6 gigs. So feel free to grab that file. You can untar it and everything's in there. And then I guess just grep for shell exec and start doing that same process in reverse, right? So find the shell exec, figure out what variables are passed to it, trace those backwards, try to find any place where you can pass user data into those variables. And yeah, good luck. With 994 of these, there's got to be at least a couple of 0 days in there. So I think I'm going to stop there for the stream, turn it over to you guys. Does anyone have thoughts or questions on that before we disconnect here?
No, I'm unzipping right now, so.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for watching. Hope that's educational.